is going on? Welcome to the TFC podcast. This is episode 22?
20, I'll check now.
But I believe it's 22
while we're at it, I'll tell you guys what's coming up in this TFC podcast. Are you checking, Jack?
I'll check it in.
You're checking. Well, firstly, if you haven't realised already by the audio, we're in real life for once. We hope to make this a lot more often that we're in real life. In fact, we're hoping to make it weekly that we meet up and do this in real life. But yeah, coming up on the podcast, we have got Chelsea versus Tottenham with a Chelsea and Tottenham fan.
It's episode 22.
22. So we've got a podcast, with Chelsea versus Tottenham with a Chelsea and Tottenham fan. We've also going to be discussing Real Madrid versus Levante. No spoilers for the scoreline there. And also, we're going to be discussing the PFA Young Player and PFA Player of the Year awards and who should win it. Non-review as usual, and also the most important player for the club, I think it is. Yeah? Most important player.
Premier League club.
Yeah. Right, let's get straight into it. So, welcome to TFC Podcast episode 22. So, let's start off with Chelsea versus Tottenham. Jack, I believe you've got the ins and outs of this. We both watched this game, however. Well, not the ins and outs,
I've
but
got the ins and outs of Chelsea versus Tottenham.
You've got the not script, but basically just go away.
Okay, the London derby.
Not go away, just read away.
Get
Go away, right? Get out.
A minute in, get out.
Yeah.
The London derby was a fierce battle as usual, but in the end, Chelsea ran out victors, becoming the first team to do the double on Jose Mourinho. Goals from Giroud and Marcus Alonso secured the win for Chelsea. Stop making me laugh.
Okay.
Chelsea fans were nervous when, with a minute to go, Rudiger deflected it past Willy Caballero. But the main talking point of the game wasn't the goals, wasn't anything else, wasn't Lampard, wasn't Mourinho. It was Lo Celso putting his studs in Azpi's leg. What do you think of this?
Well, me being a Tottenham fan, and I'm going to be honest, it's a disgrace that VAR, I don't know if you guys have heard it, but basically, Lo Celso, or Lo Celso, whatever you want to call it, I call him Lo Celso, but there you go. Lo Celso, would you say he didn't mean to do it, he put his studs into Azpilicueta's legs. I mean, that's basically what it is. It's a painful thing, because he really did stand on there for a good second, I'd say, or possibly a couple of seconds, and his studs really went into Azpilicueta's leg. VAR said that it's not serious foul play and it wasn't a red card at the time. However, changed their minds. What minute was it?
No, they didn't. Oh, no, after the game they said, we fucked it up.
Yeah, after the game, they said that they actually got it wrong and it was a red card. And I think it's a disgrace, the fact that they can... I mean, I'm a Tottenham fan, so I'll take him not getting a red card, but still, I think that it's just wrong that they've corrected themselves.
Here's the sound of Lo Celso's leg breaking.
Lo Celso? Do you mean Azpilicueta's?
Yeah.
There you go.
Do you want to listen to that again?
If you guys don't know what... Yeah, if you guys don't know what we're on about, basically we watched Morgs for 8 hours on Friday, I believe it was, and I managed to break one of Jack's trays.
He went to push in the foot of his Play-Doh foot, and he just put his hand straight through my tray.
Yeah. Should we get back to football, or just chat about the Brexit trays we had?
The Brexit trays.
They were Brexit trays.
They had 3 cars painted in the English colours.
No, it was a massive Great Britain flag on there.
Okay, yes.
It's a Brexit tray. Anyway, back to the game. Do you think it's a red? Well, do you think it's a red card?
Nah, obviously not. No, of course it's a red card. Studs straight into the shins. Awful. Should have been straight red. Ban him for 7 seconds. No, for 3 game suspension.
Well, I think what it is that the reason they didn't give it originally was because I don't think Lo Celso mean to do that. I just think it's the fact that, I don't know, they obviously saw it, and they must have just thought that it's not a foul because he didn't purposely do it.
I've just lost something. Give me a sec.
Okay. We've got to bear with Jack now because he reads off a script. There you go. Yeah. Right, okay. So, do you want to move on to the news headlines? Because I've got some news headlines to read about this one.
Alright,
do you want to give a guess at the first one, Jack?
I guess it's VAR controversy as decision makers admit Chelsea versus Tottenham mistake.
You didn't read that from my phone, did you, Jack?
No.
Exactly. So, from the Mirror, we've got VAR causes more controversy as decision makers admit Chelsea versus Tottenham mistake. From the... VAR caused more controversy in Chelsea's clash with Tottenham after Giovanni Lo Celso's escaped a red card from a stamp on Caesar. As per the Quetta, it's Lo Celso. VAR official David Cootie decided... What is that? What is that? Cootie? Cootie.
You could just say coot, couldn't you?
Coot. Good point.
Or cooter.
David Cooter decided the Spurs stars
C-O-O-T. It's literally spelled C-O-O-T-E, and you've said cutie.
No, I said Cootie, not Cutie. I ain't gonna call him Cutie. Anyway, because he works for VAR. VAR official David Coote or Coote.
Coote. It's got an accent on it.
Yeah, VAR official David, we're going to call him David, sorry David. David decided that the Spurs star had accidentally stepped on the Blues defender at the beginning of the second half. More football. I was about to say more articles, but it's from more football. More football. Derby Day, Tottenham, Chelsea 2, Tottenham 1. Live results. Giroud and Alonso. What the hell are you doing, Jack?
Getting a brownie.
Okay, you're getting a brownie. Giroud and Alonso secure win as VAR admits Lo Celso should have been sent off. An article coming from More Football. I'm just going to read the headlines, nothing else, because honestly, I could be here for years reading all the articles. Chelsea 2, Tottenham 1 live result. Giroud and Alonso secure win as VAR admits Lo Celso should have been sent off. From The Sun, Olivier Giroud, Marcus Alonso bagged goals before a late Rudiger own goal to give Spurs hope. Jose Mourinho's men has also had a lucky escape after Giovanni Lo Celso was not sent off for an apparent stamp on Caesar as Pilaqueta. So you think that it wasn't a red... Well, you think it is a red card. And VAR... Yes. When I first saw it, I thought that's a red card. Looking back on it, it looks a lot worse in slow motion. That's what it is. In fast motion, it doesn't look anything like a red card. But when you go in slow motion... In normal motion, it doesn't look like a red card. But when you play it back on the slow-mo, with a lot of tackles... and especially with this one, it does look like a red card. Any last opinions on that game, or what? Actually, I've got some questions to ask you, because we're going to try and not drag this out. But both teams use the same kind of starting formation. Do you think this affected the outcome of the game? No.
Well, obviously, whatever formation, whatever team you put out is going to affect the game. But in terms of how you mean that question... Then, no, I don't know.
You don't know.
Obviously, they're going to affect the game. Formations are always going to affect the game. If you play a 9-2, you're going to be in a bit of a...
But do you think that because they clashed formations-wise, do you think that affected the outcome? As in, like, the scoreline or the start of the game? Because, obviously, Chelsea dominated for the first half and a little bit more than that. I think, do you think that affected the scoreline?
Well, Tottenham probably should have gone for a formation that would combat Chelsea's and would... So probably a 2-striker formation to try and play against those 3 rather than play a 1-striker with wingers. Because we both played 3-4-3.
Yeah.
So defending wasn't too hard, but Tottenham's centre midfielders are more defensive players, whereas Chelsea's more attacking players.
Yeah.
Well, in a way.
It's the same kind of formation, but then the players you've got in there kind of changes the whole thing of it. Because when you got more defensive midfielders, they'll more track back and help the defence, whereas with attacking midfielders, they'll help the attack, quite obviously.
What happened was Tottenham had 2 wingers on the wings of their attack.
Yeah.
Whereas Chelsea had Ross Barkley and Mason Mount, who are more inclined to come inside as they are attacking midfielders in the centre of the park. So they had Barkley and we had Barkley and Mount running into the middle. So most of the time we'd have either 3 or at least 2 players in the area, because if one player took it out wide, the other one would tuck inside. Whereas yours, you had wingers sitting on the edges and trying to take the ball to the byline and cross it in.
Yeah. VAR screwed up again in this game. Is that the last strand for VAR, if you like to call it that? will it and should it leave at the end of the season?
I think VAR's last chance. They lost everyone when that Harry Maguire against Man United last week, and now the Tottenham one. I think Chelsea-Tottenham, they'll so challenge. It just has to go now. And
I think a lot of the VAR officials were like, "Oh, that's what was it? Peter Walton on the line with the people commentating that game." I can't remember who it was, but Peter Walton said that, "Oh yeah, that's really good from VAR people at VAR for admitting they've got it wrong." But you fucked it already. You can't really change the fact that you screwed it, and you can't change that. So I think. So do you think overall? Do you think?
You're making me laugh.
Yeah.
Oh, you are a melon.
We really should do. We could do with a camera to see. Really, Jack has been messing about from the get-go on this podcast. Well, you've been tickling me alien in places people don't want to know.
The armpits.
My inflatable alien is being abused.
No, I just tickled him here and here.
Okay, not that the viewers can see where you're pointing at. But anyway, do you think? I don't know. I can't remember. You didn't come up with a definitive answer. Do you think it should leave at the end of the season?
Yes.
So you think VAR should leave at the end of the season? I can't remember the exact poll, but I definitely think Sky Sports took a poll. Everyone said no.
They should be using the monitors. It shouldn't be Stockley Park. Look, I saw a couple of decisions this weekend. Burnley-Bournemouth game. Let's take reference from that. There was a corner, came in. It hit Philip Billings' shoulder, went over to Josh King, and he tapped it in. They were saying that it's Philip Billings' arm. What the guys on the show were saying is the defenders, none of them are calling for handball. The fans, none of them are calling for handball. The ref hasn't even noticed it. It's Stockley Park. Now, if that's not clear and obvious.
Yeah.
If they have to go back for the VAR for it to be clear and obvious. Plus, I want the ref to go over to the monitor every time. I want him to be checking that.
Definitely. I think with VAR, the idea was to take pressure off the referees. But the referee still needs to referee the game with big decisions like that. They need to be able to go up to the monitor, and that to be a usual thing.
They can. Don't use
it. That's what I mean. Like, it needs to be a usual thing for them to go up to the monitor. When do you ever see a Premier League referee go up to the monitor? You see it in other leagues, and the same with VAR works perfectly in other leagues. But in the Premier League, the biggest league in the world, there's no real debate about that either. The biggest league in the world can't seem to do a system that every other league can do well.
Yeah, I think that's all we need to say on the Chelsea-Tottenham game. Should we move on to your game that you did?
Yeah,
Real Madrid versus Levante. Real Madrid 0, Levante 1. Other way around, I think. Levante were at home, weren't they? Yeah,
Levante were at home, so it was 1-0. But anyway, I tell you what, it's really got to the point where some of these stadiums are very, not long names, but I think it's because foreign languages sometimes separate, make the stadium names longer. So at the Estadi Cuat de Valencia, Cuitat. Depending, no, that's more French.
I guess
that's a strange one to pronounce. It's Ciutat. Yeah, the Estadi something de Valencia on the Saturday. We saw second place took on 10th place. We saw this last week, except from obviously PSG, because we discussed PSG versus who was it? No, it was the club that I couldn't pronounce properly. Amiens.
I got very annoyed at that.
Yeah.
I was sitting at home. I couldn't do the podcast. I was very ill, have coronavirus, and they were going Amiens, and I wanted to punch this. I generally wanted to punch the screen.
Yeah. But yeah, we saw the same kind of thing, and you see it every single week in a league where these top sides are facing sides that really they should be beating, but then losing narrowly. Or last time, the game we discussed. Look,
Cuitat, and it means taken care of.
Okay, Cuitat. So the stadium name, if you're wondering, which no one actually gives one, but the Estadio Cuitat de Valencia. Is the way you pronounce it.
It's Catalan. Let me just put the thing into here.
It's the way you pronounce it in the Spanish language. No, that I was trying to put an accent, but it sounds nothing like it.
So in reference, if you put all that in, it's the City Stadium of Valencia. Estadi Cuitat de Valencia.
Okay, so yeah, but I don't know. I forgot what I was saying. Oh, basically, I think you see it a lot more these days, where smaller sides or sides that are lower in the league to these top sides actually putting on a really good game against teams like Real Madrid and PSG. But anyway, Real Madrid came into this game only winning 3 of their last 5, and Levante had only won 2 of their last 5. The first 75 minutes had nothing to offer, except from Real Madrid domination, really, and this is what makes this game quite hard to reminisce and discuss, well not discuss, but summarise. But the deadlock was broken in the 79th minute by Levante's Morales, and after almost 80 minutes of Real Madrid domination, Levante had taken the lead. And you see this a lot more in not only the La Liga, not only, well, basically any league in the world. These top sides leave it late, and when you leave it late, that makes both teams more vulnerable. But I think, yeah, Levante...
It's not so much that, but every team now, every top side is going to play possession football. They're going to focus on possession football. Not clinical football, possession football. Every lower league side, if they're playing against a big team, they're going to set up defensively, they're going to sit a low block, and they're going to try and counter-attack you. And they're going to be clinical with their goals. So it's another case of a big side just not being able to finish their shots. You saw it against, I think it was Atleti, Liverpool, yeah. Atleti set up with a low block, meaning they could break Liverpool down when Liverpool attacked, and then they would counter them. And they saw that was very effective, and they managed to beat them 1-0. So, yeah, that's basically why you don't see big teams just smashing little teams anymore so much, because there are so many like tactical analysis and stuff. They're going to work on the other team, and they're going to know how they're going to play, so they can set up to combat that system. Yeah,
definitely. I think, yeah, as you said, you don't see it as much. Even if Real Madrid went out there and beat them 1-2-0 a couple of years ago, and it may be partly because Real Madrid were better a couple of years ago, but still, Real Madrid a couple of years ago probably would have battered them 4 or 5-0.
Yeah, probably. And you look back and you see big scorelines. Like, I can see on the wall behind you, you've got this BBC football thing. Tottenham 9, Wigan 1.
Yeah.
And that is what they had. But when Defoe scored 5 goals, you don't see that ever these days.
No.
Just going to point out, one's in the 69th minute. That is class.
Yeah, that is very cool.
Yeah, if you played that same game today, Tottenham are in the Prem, Wigan are at bottom of the Championship. I think you'd see only a 2-0 win from Tottenham, because Wigan will be working all week on trying to defend, and then counter-attack them.
Yeah, I don't think it's because Wigan Athletic, I don't know, blah blah blah. Maybe Wigan Athletic have lost a couple players, or maybe gained a couple players. I think it is because there is so much more tactical, and the mental side of the game has changed a lot, even in the last 5 years. And the stats are everywhere. You can't get them away from football, and you know exactly, or well, almost exactly how that team's going to play, the players that play, and now they, as you said, a team like Wigan Athletic would be literally focusing the whole week on the exact way Tottenham play. And if Tottenham played that exact way that they studied, they would cut them out 60, 70, maybe 80% of the times.
Well, at the moment, football is very weird. The top 2 leagues in the world, the Premier League and the La Liga, both have their top clubs, I'd say, struggling. Like, if you look at every of the top clubs, so I'd say Arsenal, Tottenham, Chelsea, City, Liverpool and United. If you look at all of them, other than Liverpool, all of them have had a better team in the last 5-10 years.
Yeah.
If you look at Real and Barca and Atleti, they've all had a better team in the last 5-10 years. Like Atleti, they got to a Champions League final and they won the league, and now look at them. It seems like every big club in both those leagues is going through a transition phase, and it pretty much is. Other than Liverpool, I'd say Barca are transitioning, Real don't know what they're doing with their team yet, Atleti transitioning, Chelsea transitioning, Tottenham transitioning, Arsenal failing, Manchester United failing. City are obviously now out of the Champions League. They've given up on the Premier League. So, well, not out of the banned from the Champions League for the next 2 years. But you can see how all the big clubs are struggling. Even like AC Milan out in Italy. You've got no one in Ligue 1. Everyone there just goes, PSG, they got money. We'll just leave them at the top there. And Bundesliga's remained relatively the same, other than Leipzig coming from the depths because of Red Bull.
Yeah, I think that is the thing now. There is no real... You can go... A big team goes into a game now, and they almost have more pressure, because the small side goes in there. No one's really expecting them to win, but that puts a lot more pressure on the bigger side, like in this game, Real Madrid versus Levante. Real Madrid had a lot of pressure on them, you could say, because they were expected to beat them, if not batter them, whereas that isn't the reality in football anymore. The mental side of things, going back to the old Wigan Athletic Tottenham thing, which was ages ago, obviously, but, as you said, the smaller side will study the bigger side, for like, that is massive for them. A team like Levante versus Real Madrid, in the league, that is massive for Levante. And for Real Madrid, they'll go into the game thinking, oh, we'll win that, blah, blah, blah. But then that means, I don't know, I just think Levante and the smaller sides will go in with more mental awareness of what they're going to go through in that game. And, anyway, moving on to kind of the whole scheme of things in the actual La Liga, can you see any movement in that top 3 area, especially after this game?
Aren't Getafe third?
They've
been good this season, Getafe. I'm pretty sure they're still third. If not, Sevilla might be.
I will check now, but I can tell you that...
While you're checking, I'm just going to make another point on what I was saying earlier. Yeah. In terms of everyone else not being so good, I don't think that this current Liverpool team would be so dominant in terms of the Premier League and in the Champions League if it had bigger competition. Say it had the Barcelona side of 5 years ago, I don't think Liverpool would have beaten Barcelona in the way they did in the semis last year. Say it was the Man City team that had that fight, had that desire of the last couple of years, I don't think they'd be top of the Premier League right now. If Chelsea had their team a couple years back, not even a couple years back, but like a year or two, not a year, sorry, a couple years back, then I don't think Liverpool would be top of the league. Manchester United were playing as well as they were with Sir Alex. I don't think they'd be top of the league. If Real Madrid were playing as well as they were 4 years ago when they had like Ronaldo and all that, don't think they would have won the Champions League. And I think the reason that Liverpool are so dominant isn't because they're exceptional. I'm not saying they're bad.
No.
But I do think they're not one of the best teams ever. They might go invincible this year. I think that's mainly down to everyone else being so poor.
I think in the Premier League currently, and we will go back to La Liga in a minute, but in the Premier League currently, a lot of top sides aren't performing their best. And I think teams like Liverpool and,
Ajax went to the semis last year of the Champions League. That team shouldn't be getting to the semis of the Champions League against it. Put it against the other teams at the moment, yes, but against those clubs, as in not the teams, but the club, as in its history and all that.
Yeah, like Real Madrid
shouldn't be beating that. The way Tottenham are in a Champions League final. Don't get me wrong, Tottenham all right side, like Son. They've got glimpses of quality, but I wouldn't say they're one of the top teams in Europe.
And I think what it was in that year was, number one, because we got teams like Ajax, and
you got lucky with the draw.
Yeah.
But I still think, say you had Real Madrid in that game, not Ajax, I think you would have lost that.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think it definitely would have been a whole different game to the one against Ajax.
Wasn't Ajax a quarter-final?
No,
you got
Ajax
Tottenham
was
in the
semis.
Quarters. Yeah. No, sorry, you got City in the quarters.
Yeah, City in the quarters, which is a top side, but
you should have lost that game. Let's be honest. And because
we got away with very late. We got away very late with a lot.
VAR was wrong in that game.
But VAR's always wrong. It's always wrong, Jack.
VAR was wrong in that game, and I think City would have beaten Ajax and then gone into the final, probably beaten Liverpool last year.
But yeah, I think a lot of the sides now, especially you see like Sheffield United making it this week, match week in the Premier League, if they won that game, which they did end up drawing, but if they won that game, they would have gone 5th.
They were 5th for a
yeah.
little bit of this season.
Yeah.
They're still 7th in the Premier League, which is above Arsenal.
Exactly, and that's just... I think, number one, I'm not denying, they are a good side, but it's also to do with... Think about it, if Arsenal were doing just as well as they were... actually, you got to go back to the Arsene Wenger days to even find a half-decent side.
Well, they had a good side, they just struggled for a long time. They haven't had... I don't think Arsenal have been any good this decade. I think you'll have to go back to last decade to find real good Arsenal teams. Invincibles team.
Yeah.
I think that Invincibles team is better than Liverpool's Invincibles in inverted commas because they're not confirmed yet.
Yeah,
but if they do go on,
I think Liverpool will be invincible this season, but I think a lot of that is to do with... Think about it, if Man City were doing better this season, if a lot of the top sides were doing better this season, Liverpool have come very close, even against teams like Norwich. I think it would be a totally different story if some of the top sides performed to their top way of playing.
Do the league table
let's go back to the La Liga. We've just waffled on for a good 5 minutes, but anyway, let's go back to the La Liga table. And as you mentioned, you said that Getafe was 3rd. They're now 5th. But can you see the top 3 changing much looking at it now?
Yeah, I can see Atleti dropping down. I think Barca and Real are always going to be the top 2, and they probably will be for another 30, 40 years. That will never change. Well, it might eventually. Yeah. I don't think it's going to happen in the next
decade.
Yeah. Atleti in 3rd. Well, I think Sevilla, Getafe, even Sociedad are hot on their heels, and I think if Atleti drop points, Getafe and Sevilla are going to be there to overtake them in the league, and so are Sociedad. Sociedad are really good at the moment. They've got Odegaard, William Jose, Sevilla probably playing above expected since they lost Ben Yedder, and Getafe, they're playing really well this season.
Yeah, put it like this though, there's only actually a 10-point gap between 10th and 5th, which isn't too massive. And also, so if you've not seen the La Liga table, I'll tell you guys what it is now. First, Barcelona by 2 points. Real Madrid are 2nd, 10 points above Atletico Madrid. As Jack said, I can't really see the top 2 changing at all. I mean, after Real Madrid's form, but then again, Barcelona's form hasn't been great either.
No, neither of them have been great.
But I think you'll agree with me on this one. Barcelona will finish first this La Liga season.
I don't know. It all depends if Messi keeps fit. Say Messi even gets a 2-week injury, I think Real Madrid have got a better chance now.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I think Messi's carrying that team quite significantly.
I think if, as you said, if Barcelona's top players, like Braithwaite now, joking. If Barcelona's top players...
Real are now in more problems as well, because Hazard's injured now, so...
Yeah, so I think I'm going to say Barcelona are going to finish first in this La Liga. I think Real Madrid will finish 2nd, but I can see 3rd place maybe switching out a little bit. But, yeah, basically, in other words, can you see that shifting? And the answer is...
I can see Barca and Real turning around. And look, the top 2 are going to be Barca and Real. And then... In fact, do predictions. I'm going to go Real... No, I'm going to go... Real, Barca, and... I don't know for 3rd. I'm going to go for Sociedad.
Yeah, okay. So... I'll probably... I reckon, I think Barcelona and Real Madrid, I can't see that changing. I think that will stay in the top 2. That's going to be quite loud because you're playing about my inflatable alien again. And, Atletico Madrid and Sevilla, Getafe, Real Sociedad, they are all still very level on points. Well, not level, but there's a 3-point gap. Jesus Christ, Joe. There's a 3-point gap. There's a 3-point gap between 3rd and 6th. That is mental.
Yeah,
that's a very different to the Premier League gap currently.
No, Premier League's well close.
What, but 1st and 4th?
I thought you said 3rd and 6th.
Oh, yeah, good point, though. But you mean it's not as close as that?
Yes, it is. Manchester United and Tottenham are literally within points. Chelsea are now 6 points ahead, but that's only because they beat Tottenham at the weekend. I think Sheffield United are only a point, 2 points behind. And then Wolves are... I think Wolves and Sheffield United might be level on points, actually.
Good point. But I think, though, there is a slightly bigger gap in the Premier League, only by a couple points, but still. Yeah, so the answer is yes, but only in places. Do you want to move on, or do you want to discuss one more thing?
I don't think there's much else to say about this. Should we do our PFA Player of the Season?
Yeah, so now we're going to discuss who we think...
How big's your list? Did you do 1, 2 and 3?
I didn't write a list.
What do you mean you didn't write a list?
I didn't write a list. I don't want to... I haven't written a list about PFA players.
Oh, I thought you did.
No, I didn't write a list.
Oh.
Yeah. So now we're going to discuss, well, Jack's going to say his thing and we'll basically debate about it. I mean...
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I have a rough idea of what...
Then you can...
Yeah, I think so. We're going to be now discussing PFA Player of the Year and PFA Young Player of the Year and who should win them in our opinion.
I've gone for a top 10 for both PFA Player and Young Player. And I think they're fair, though there are some players that I've put in that others may...
disagree with?
Yeah. So instead of doing what I think is going to be Team Player of the Season... I've done what I would go for. Yeah. But I was going to do what I think will be Player of the Season. It would just be Mane, Henderson, Van Dijk, Salah. It's just going to be Liverpool because they've won the league. Yeah. And that's how PFA works. But, so, in 10th, I've gone for Jack Grealish.
Yeah, I think Jack Grealish, I think I can definitely see him being considered. But, you can quite clearly see, you've put him at 10th, so... You can't really see it happening. I mean, I can't either. I can't see Jack Grealish winning. Wait, it'll be young player or player?
This is player.
Player.
Jack Grealish is 24, which I was really annoyed about. Yeah. Because if not, I'd have definitely put him on the young player list.
Yeah, but I can't see him winning Player of the Year.
For 9, I've gone Salah, and I reckon Liverpool fans will put him higher. But his goal contributions, I know obviously he's been absurd for the last 2 years, but obviously it hasn't been as high this year. And I think there's other players that have been performing really well. Yeah.
I don't think Salah is... Like, all the Liverpool fans are still like, oh, Salah, best player in the world, like, best player we have. But I think there's a better player in that Liverpool side than Salah.
I think I have him on this list.
Yes, I think you do.
People will probably... Like, I haven't put Firmino on here. People are going to get annoyed at me and go, oh, he's underrated. He's not underrated. Bobby Firmino is not underrated because... Every single person says he's underrated.
Yeah.
So he's not underrated.
He was underrated
if everybody thinks he's good.
Yeah, he was underrated. Well, he was underrated until people started saying, "Oh, he's underrated," because now he's really rated.
You hear Sky Sports every single week. Oh, he's an underrated player. Oh, I think what Firmino does for this team is underrated. Match of the day. Oh, I think what Firmino does for this team is underrated. It isn't. Everybody thinks, oh, Firmino is class, but. I have not put him on this list because I don't think he's been one of the top 10 players.
But we're not saying Firmino's not a good player, but we are saying we don't think anymore he's underrated. I think
if anything, he's a little bit overrated because everybody says he's underrated.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something to debate, but I definitely think he's not underrated anymore.
He works hard. He's a good player. He's talented. He's got that flair. But no way is he
underrated. Yeah. Okay.
So for 8th, I've gone with a player that is underrated, Riyad Mahrez. I think people will say he's not that good, but I think what I've seen from him this season is a much bigger improvement on what I've seen from him since he's gone to City from Leicester. Yeah. And some of his goals have been very important to City.
Can I butt in? Some people are going to go, he has not improved since he's left Leicester, but I think. Considering he's joined a Man City side that is top class, I think Riyad Mahrez, he's done well at City this season.
I think his confidence has been given a massive boost after he won the African Cup of Nations with Algeria. Yeah. Since then, he's been sensational. And every time I watch City, he seems to be well involved. He's been good all this season. And I've gone for his teammate in 7th, Sergio Aguero. People probably go, oh, put him higher. But I'm putting him 7th. He's second in the scoring charts. People say he's dropping off. He's not. He's still got, 17 goals so far, and this is February. Obviously, it's not Haaland level ridiculous, but still a lot of goals. Really good for Aguero. So I think, obviously, he got a lot of goals every season, but this has been a decent season from him. 7th for Aguero.
Yep.
Anything else to add to that?
I mean, I think Aguero, think about it. You think Aguero, he could go higher, but then think who you're going to put ahead of Aguero. You've got players, I mean, you just mentioned a couple of players in there that I can definitely see. I can see maybe Aguero going 6th or maybe 5th, but I can't see him going any higher than that because there are some top players. If
anything, move him up to 6th because I might move my 4th down. In fact, I'm going to do that. I'm going to move Aguero up to 6th and I'm going to move Danny Ings down to 7th. I put Danny Ings initially 4th above Van Dijk, but I think I need to move him down actually. I think that was a bad decision. Been really good this season, Ings, so I'm going to put him 7th, just behind.
So you're going to put Ings 7th and Aguero 6th, yeah?
Danny Ings is single-handedly saved Southampton this season. I think definitely. Without him, they would definitely be going down at this point. So you could make a case for him being as high as I've put him, but I think I'm just going to have to move him down. Yeah,
so Danny Ings 7th, Aguero 6th. Who have you put in the top 5, Jack? 5th?
So I've gone for Jamie Vardy. I think it's pretty obvious. Top scorer, you have to have him on your PFA list because he's the top scorer in the league, and that's how PFA works.
Yeah, that's definitely how it works. I mean, and it's also that the league winners, the league leaders, tend to get a lot of players in that list as well.
So obviously, loads of Liverpool players. You've got to have City players because they're second. You've got to have Leicester players because they're third. I think Vardy's been sensational this season, so I'm going to put him in 6th.
Yeah, definitely.
5th, I've gone for 4th.
Yeah.
I've gone for Virgil van Dijk. People might say put him higher. No. Van Dijk was better last season than he was this season. And I'm not just saying that because they're not... Oh, sorry. People probably say that he should be... That actually he's better this season than last year because Liverpool topped the league.
But I don't think it works like that.
No, I think Van Dijk was better last year than he was this year. Just had more of a fear factor, I guess. This year, you've seen players go past Van Dijk. Last year it was like, no one's gone past Van Dijk, he's so good. But
this season you do see it.
You've seen players go past him, I think now it's a mission. I'm like, you're pumped up.
One thing I would say though,
I'm gonna get past Van Dijk today because I know I can. That's going to be my goal for the whole game. Yeah,
and I want to say as well, last season it was like Van Dijk, he's the rock in defence. Without him, they would be nothing in defence, which is kind of true. But because they got Dejan Lovren.
They haven't got Dejan Lovren, they play Joe Gomez.
Oh yeah, sorry. No, but that's what I'm saying, and that's what I'm about to mention. I'm happy that Joe Gomez has got some recognition because I think he's a solid centre-back. I think he works really well with Van Dijk.
Yeah, definitely.
And I don't think he got as much recognition last season as he has this season. I think they recognise both Van Dijk and Joe Gomez as both solid centre-backs.
When Gomez was injured, they obviously had to play Lovren or Matip, and I think playing one of them is more of a liability, and often Van Dijk would have to cover for him. So it would look like he's doing a lot more, whereas now that he has Gomez next to him, he doesn't have to worry so much. So he's been less... Oh, look at me, I'm stopping the ball on the edge of the area. I'm the stopper, the best defender in the world. He hasn't been so much of that.
Yeah, definitely.
So for number 3, I've gone for Liverpool's captain, Jordan Henderson. Lots of people tipping him for first. No way am I giving Jordan Henderson first. Probably not even third, but just because he has led this...
I can see him getting third.
Led this Liverpool team to the title. I think it's pretty much confirmed now. Anyone that thinks anyone's going to make a comeback, you're stupid.
Yeah, you are very
I'm not going to drop off now. But so I've Henderson third. He doesn't do anything spectacular, but he works hard in the middle. He gets the ball around.
And he is a good captain.
He does what he has to do.
As a captain as well, he does his role. And he captains the team. And he's... Really, let's face it, he's the captain of a league-winning side. And as we said, PFA like league-winning sides and players. So, of course, Jordan Henderson's going to be in there. We've put him
everyone in
third.
the public's going, oh, he has to be in. He's going for first. He's not going to be first. He probably will on the PFA Player of the Year. I'll give you that now. If I was doing my who I think will be there, then he would probably be first.
But we're doing who we think deserve.
Who I'm giving the positions to. So in second, Kevin De Bruyne, and you're going to see how much I like him later when we discuss most important player. I think he's indispensable to City. We saw last year, sometimes they would struggle to unlock the door without his creativity. This year he's been sensational, and it shows that they've got him back because they've been creating so many more chances. They just haven't been able to finish them really. So and they haven't had much of a defence, Man City. So De Bruyne second, magical player, one of the best players in the world.
Man City are Man City without De Bruyne.
No, because Aguero, Mahrez, Sterling wouldn't get any delivery.
Yeah.
And for my PFA Player of the Season goes to Sadio Mane.
I fully agree with that one. I can't lie, I did see the list you had before this, but I fully agree with you on that one. I think Mane is better than Salah. I think Mane is more important to Liverpool than Salah, and I think Mane definitely... I would prefer to see Mane win the PFA Player of the Year over Jordan Henderson.
He's kind of dropped off 2020, but his first half of the season was so good that actually I think he'll still get it based on his first half, and he'll probably pick back up where he left off soonish. Yeah. It doesn't really matter, does it? They've won the league. He can just strut about and nod the random goal in whenever he wants. For a young player, I'll probably go through this list a bit quicker because there's
do you want to do top five maybe?
I'll just reel off my tops. I'll reel off my other five first then.
Yeah.
So I've gone for Todd Cantwell 10th, Tomori 9th, Wan-Bissaka 8th, Tielemans 7th, Abraham 6th. For 5th, I've gone for James Maddison.
Yep.
4th, I've gone for Reece James. People probably put him lower, but I think as a Chelsea fan of what we've seen from him is really good.
Yeah, I think I was gonna think of someone, but I mean, there's definitely people. You went through that bottom five you put on your list quite quickly, but I think that there are. I would personally, and I don't know much about the Chelsea defence to be totally honest, but do you think there'd be any chance of Tomori placing higher than James? No, not James. Is James's name? I can't even remember.
It was James, yes.
Yeah, James.
Possibly, but Tomori didn't start the season.
Yeah.
No, hang on, he did, sorry. He hasn't been playing as many games more recently. They've been preferring Christensen. And James didn't start the season, but what he has done's been magnificent. Ajax in the Champions League, his delivery of the ball has been top class. He's a very good crosser. As for third, I've gone for Marcus Rashford, who still qualifies for this list. It annoys me because second, yes, I think, breakthrough player, let him be in there. But for first and third, I think they're too established to be considered for the PFA. Yeah. I think it has to be their first year as playing regular professional football. So you could have a year where you're sitting on the bench, you're coming off of 30 minutes and stuff, but then in that season, the first season that you play regularly,
I think
that's the only year you can be considered for PFA.
Yeah, Marcus Rashford is just like, as you said, he is an established player. I mean, he's probably Man United's...
He's Man United's best player.
Yeah.
And actually, they have struggled without him. They haven't had as many goals. In fact, they've barely had any goals.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And a lot of you would be saying, oh, that surely proves that he's a really good young player. But I think he's matured and he's been in football for quite a while now.
Well, he's 22. That's what annoys me. Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure the bracket's 23. And though Abraham's 22, this is his first year in top flight football. Maddison is 23. I think I'm right in saying that. Second year. But last year, I guess with my rule, Maddison wouldn't be on there. And actually, Maddison's probably an established player. I've got Tielemans on here. This is his first year. Wan-Bissaka. I don't think he's established enough. This is his first year at Manchester United, so I'll probably let him slide. Tomori first year, Cantwell obviously first year. So as a second, I've gone for Martinelli of Arsenal.
Yeah.
I think he's just been sensational. I think I've said that about everyone so say. Sensational.
Yeah,
He's
but
been top class. I need to get some more
really,
adjectives.
he's the only. There's only a couple of players at Arsenal that are doing well, and I think he is
Aubameyang
definitely
and
one of them.
Martinelli.
Yeah, that's literally. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Leno, no good. Sorry, I was about to list off all the Arsenal players. We'll be here all day about how they're no good. Anyone else, no
exactly.
good. Lacazette's even dropped off this season. And then in first, I've gone for Trent Alexander-Arnold.
I think he'll win it.
Probably. He's 22 years old. 22
Nah, you
years
know who
old.
I'm going to go with? I think I'm going to go with Alan Shearer. Really young striker,
really young player.
Developing. And he's
Che
just,
Adams. He's been good this season, hasn't he?
I think Alan Shearer for Young Player of the Year award. We've got to start the hashtag. Anyway, do you want to move on to the most important player for Premier League? We are quarter two. Quarter two. We have 15 minutes left until the hour mark. What?
But just to note this quickly. So, Gio Reyna, Dortmund wonder kid. Apparently, England could steal him. Put it this way, I've seen him play for Dortmund in highlights and games and stuff.
Yeah.
He looks very good. If England could steal him, he plays in the middle of the park, very similar position to like Mount and stuff. But I think he's much better. He plays for the USA under 17s, but England found that he was born in Sunderland, so he could play for England. Anyway, should we move on to the most important player?
Let's move on to the most important player for every single club. We'll do this swiftly. Don't worry, we ain't going to make this a 2-hour podcast.
I've done this in league order. Well, even if we make this, we need to take this to the hour mark probably with this.
Yeah. Okay.
I've done it in league order. Should we go from the bottom up or the top down?
We'll go top down. Why not?
Top down. All right, Liverpool. Virgil van Dijk. I think if he gets injured. So, most important player, just going to tell you my criteria for this. I've gone for the player that, if they were injured, would be the biggest problem for the club. The player that is most important. Wow. Jesus.
Wow, yeah.
That's some good criteria.
That's I wouldn't expect that to see that kind of regulation on a most important list. But yeah, so number one, Liverpool. You've
Van
gone
Dijk,
with.
I think if he gets injured, they're screwed.
Yes,
we've even seen. I was tempted to put Alisson, but we've seen that Adrian can step in and do a good job. A defensive Matic and Joe Gomez just doesn't cut it for me. I think that's a bit unfair on Adrian. He actually did really well.
Yeah, I think he just made a couple of mistakes.
He came in thinking,
didn't he?
I'll sit on the bench and get some money and I can just get a league title.
Buy a
That'll be
supercar.
alright, won't it?
Yeah.
So then, for Manchester City, I've gone for Kevin De Bruyne. He's been. I think if they lose him, no creativity is indispensable.
Yeah.
For Leicester City, Jamie Vardy. That they have got other strikers. Iheanacho could probably do a decent job. I think if they lose Vardy, they'd lose 16, 17 goals.
Yeah, I mean, the only really other people I can see anyone trying to debate it with is Schmeichel, maybe.
Or Kaglar Soyuncu.
Yeah, there's a couple players, but I think Vardy is almost a no-brainer, really. I mean, I think if Leicester City lost Vardy, they've not really got anyone outfield that is, yeah.
If they were to lose him, because Leicester don't give up, don't create amazing chances, but it's Jamie Vardy's ability to finish really hard chances. He can score. You could hand him the ball
from the halfway line.
Yeah, he has. Yeah. Liverpool, in the title-winning season, he volleyed it from the halfway line over Simon Mignolet, which isn't hard. But
yeah, that's a good point. But still, that is very, very hard to score from the halfway line.
Some goals, like he can just finish any ball. So it does. So if they lost him, I don't think Iheanacho would finish as many as Vardy does.
Yeah.
For Chelsea, people are probably going to argue with me on this one, but I've gone for Mateo Kovacic. I think a lot of Chelsea fans got very annoyed at him last season because he just didn't bring what was promised. But this season, I think Kovacic is controlled, calm, collected, possessional. I don't know how to describe. He He's just calm on
Jack's
the ball.
just sitting here
Calm on the
bringing his
ball.
arms round like a washing machine or something.
He's calm
Yeah,
on
I'm
the
not really
ball.
sure, guys, but I think Kovacic. You look away. You look away so you don't laugh.
He's calm with the possession. He's good with the ball at his feet, and he's been better this season than last season. I think he's been crucial to Chelsea. And actually, the games we haven't had him, we've struggled and we've lost. So
You know what I think?
has to be.
This is going to really annoy you, and this is a joke, by the way.
That's
Before you,
why.
no, I think it's Kepa Arrizabalaga. No, I'm joking.
No, Big Willie. Oh,
I think Willie's better.
I think our Chelsea fans need to come up with a chant for Willie, because I came up with
A chant for Willie. You
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Willie. You like Willie, don't you?
He's my dick in goal, he's my dick in goal, he's my dick in goal, it's Willie Caballero.
Let's stop. Let's
Willie
move on. Let's move on.
Caballero.
Let's move on.
Okay, yeah, you probably want to cut out he's my dick in goal.
Nah, let's not.
Manchester United, who are somehow fifth, Jesus Christ. I've gone for Marcus Rashford.
Yeah.
And we explained this earlier.
Fun fact, he's actually qualified for a Young PFA Player Award.
How?
And we're not sure about that one, as you worked out just a minute ago.
For Tottenham.
Yes.
I've gone for Harry Kane. He is, I think you've really struggled without his goals. I don't rate Harry Kane, but I think he is your most important player.
I think people could
Between
debate
him
with
and
you.
Son.
Yeah, I think people could debate with you between him and Son, but I
And
can't
no
see.
Chelsea, because he's so good at avoiding red cards when he goes through people's shins. He's studs.
But I can't see anyone really saying anyone other than Son or Kane. Yeah, that's.
Rattle
yeah.
for a couple here. Sheffield United gone for Dean Henderson. There's not really anyone else.
No.
They're all similar level players, and they've got a lot of.
Yeah, the
players
only
in
one else,
Premierships.
the only other contender for best or most important player at Sheffield United is probably Lundstrom.
No, he's just the best fantasy Premier League player
Good point.
because he's a defender, so he costs less. But he plays midfield, so he scores and gets assists.
Yeah, but that's what the PFA player. No, not
He
the
gets
PFA.
points every week, but he gets loads of points because he's a defender.
That's what I mean, though. He's the most important player in my fantasy league team, not for
Yeah, yeah.
Sheffield United.
He's the most important. He's the best. You have to have him in your fantasy team because he's in there as a defender. So if Sheffield United win and keep a clean sheet, Lundstrom's probably set up and scored in that game,
Yeah.
and also gets the clean sheet bonus.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, so you've gone with Dean Henderson. I agree with that
And
one.
Wolves, Rui Patricio. I think Raul Jimenez was up there, but I think they'd be able to deal with Jota and Nato. So Patricio, because John Ruddy cannot play in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang for Arsenal.
No
I think
debate.
That's fairly
No
obvious
debate,
that it's
yeah.
going to be him.
Yep.
Or Martinelli, but I think if they didn't have Martinelli, they'd have Aubameyang.
Yeah.
If they didn't have Aubameyang, obviously they'd have Martinelli, but I think Aubameyang is better than Martinelli.
Yeah.
At the moment.
Yeah.
I've for Burnley, Ben Mee. I don't know much about Burnley, but I know Ben Mee's a good defender, and they'd probably be annoyed if they had to play Phil Bardsley.
Yeah.
Or whatever his name is.
Yeah. I think it is a bit of a low key side, isn't it? Burnley. We don't.
Yeah,
I don't know much about him
thought
either.
maybe Jay Rodriguez. He scored a couple of goals from this season, but then Matty Vidra's been good recently. For Everton, Richarlison. I don't think there's many others. Maybe like Yerry Mina, but I think that Michael Keane and no one could play at the back together. But if they
I don't rate Michael Keane, but I mean, I think it would be more painful for them to lose
who've they got?
Richarlison.
Because they've loaned off Cenk Tosun. I don't even know who would play. Who even would? They can't
Put Jordan Pickford up
Theo
on the wing.
Walcott up top. Jesus. For Southampton, I've gone with Danny Ings. That's fairly obvious. He scored a ridiculous amount.
Southampton
14
aren't Southampton without
goals,
Danny Ings.
something like that. Crystal Palace, Luka Milivojevic, just because he scores penalties. People are probably expecting Zaha, but all he does is win the penalties, and then
Quite literally.
Milivojevic.
Yeah, quite literally. Yeah.
Milivojevic.
Zaha is a great player if you want penalties or
Put it
set
this way,
pieces.
there wouldn't be much point if they didn't have Zaha. Obviously, Milivojevic couldn't finish the penalties that they got. But if they lose Milivojevic, what's the point in Zaha diving around for penalties?
Yeah, exactly.
Because they got no one to stick it in the back of the net. For Newcastle, gone for Martin Dubravka. I mean, who else are you going to give it to? Joe Linton's not good. Almiron, not very good. You think, maybe like Shaw, but even Fabian Shaw, like they've got Jamal Lascelles, they've got Lejeune. But if Dubravka gets injured, Carl Darlow.
Yeah, they haven't really got an established goalkeeper, have they?
Well, no, Dubravka's class.
Well, no, that's what I mean. Other than Dubravka,
Dubravka. Not Carl Darlow. Brighton have gone for Pascal Gross. I did think Lewis Dunk maybe. I did think Matt Ryan.
Yeah, I think it's a relatively close one, but I do think he is probably. I mean,
yeah, if they lost Pascal Gross, his creativity.
In fact, let's interact with our Brighton Hove Albion supporter viewer things, not things.
Any?
No, we don't. Yeah, we don't. Yeah, we don't.
PewDiePie lives in Brighton. Live now, we have Felix.
Does he actually? How do you know that? Do you stalk PewDiePie? Or does just everyone know?
He just said, I live in Brighton.
Did he?
Yeah, or you can just search on Google. Where does PewDiePie live? Brighton, UK.
Right, so we got a live guest PewDiePie on the line.
He loves Bruno Soltar. He's his hero.
Yeah.
Anyway, still talking about football. Bournemouth, I've gone for Callum Wilson. I think without his goals, what have you not been watching PewDiePie?
No, I have. I was just debating
any
playing.
Red bars on those PewDiePie
Oh yeah,
videos.
good point. Actually. No, it's because I watch on my TV and I don't log in. It's because I watch it on my TV and I don't log in.
Confirmed. GM19 hates PewDiePie.
No, it's because I don't log in because I've got loads of YouTube videos for my YouTube videos. That makes any sense on this account. Whereas
your account's fucked. It's just Morgan.
Yeah, that's the thing as well.
Anyway, Bournemouth, Callum Wilson.
Yeah.
Because without his goals, they'd probably struggle. I mean, they've struggled this season anyway, because he hasn't been scoring many.
Yeah.
For Aston Villa, gone with Jack Grealish, because there's a lot of talk in January he's going to go to United. If he had, I think Villa will go down. If Jack Grealish gets injured, Villa are probably going to go down. There's not anyone that could really replace him.
It's a no-brainer, really.
Callum Wilson, I get there's replacements in Josh King and stuff, but I think Callum Wilson's just really good. And there's not really anyone else for Bournemouth. West Ham, Lucas Fabianski, because everyone else is rubbish. And you can see with, that Roberto dude in goal that he didn't catch anything.
Yeah.
He didn't save anything. And David Martin sounds like a singer from, some band in the 80s.
You know what? David Martin sounds like
one of the guys down the pub. Oh, yeah, David Martin, all the old school lads.
For me, he sounds like a radio presenter. David Martin.
Yeah, probably. For Watford, obviously, you've got to go for Danny Welbeck. Just joking. Troy Deeney, because he scores penalties. No, he's a great striker, and Andre Gay.
Andre Gay. No, it's not Andre. It's Andre Gray, not Andre Gay.
Is...
There you go.
And for Norwich, I debated between Timo Pukki and Tim Krul, but I think that the backup for Pukki in Srabani is worse than Ralph Farman's the option of Ralph Farman for Norwich. So I went for Timo Pukki.
Yeah, I mean, there's a, as you said, I mean, outfield, if you were to cut out the goalkeeper, which we're not, but if we didn't consider goalkeepers, I think it'd be a no-brainer. With Timo Pukki.
Because so many teams are reliant on their goalkeeper that actually this list would be hard if it was just outfielders. I used the scapegoat of Dean Henderson, Roy Patricio, Dubravka, Fabianski in this. And
but I think what I was trying to say is that basically Norwich without their goalkeeper, it's obvious who they have as their best player.
Yeah, other than Norwich, because they've got two decent keepers, you could probably give a good point for the goalkeeper for everyone.
Yeah.
If Alisson gets injured, Adrian. Edison gets injured, bravo. Vardy. If Schmeichel gets injured, sorry, I don't even know who Leicester's backup is. If Kepa gets injured, Big Willie is our hero.
Big Willie's on the.
If De Gea gets injured, Sergi Romero. If Lloris gets injured, Gazaniga, but
yeah, I mean, I don't think there's much of a quality gap.
Point.
Yeah, I think with a lot of clubs, they have their main goalkeeper, and if they lose that main goalkeeper, with most clubs, they wouldn't be anywhere near as good. And I think goalkeepers are crucial in the match because there's only one of them.
At the back because they lost
Yeah, but like generally, without a top goalkeeper, a club isn't great because I think that there's only one goalkeeper on the pitch for each side, and they have to be top class. And I think when they are top class, well, then you've got a good player in your hands.
Can I have a marshmallow now?
No, you can't have a marshmallow because we're going to move on to the non-review. Let's move on to the non-review.
Can I have one?
You can do some marshmallow ASMR and out the outro, Jack.
I just want a marshmallow.
And the outro, you get some super epic
Oh my
marshmallow
God.
ASMR.
Could I just pair a marshmallow with my brownie? That'd be heaven.
You can at the outro, but let's move on to non-review, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the
We
non-review.
need like a non-review, like a song. We need like
non-review.
You know, like you got matches there. That'd probably be copyright.
Yeah.
No.
No, you said that you did that too
like
quickly.
Food reviewer. I did reviews. We need something like a mix between the two.
It's like a. That's Baby Shark.
No. That is Jaws and then like Baby Shark.
No, that's the intro to Baby Shark though. It's like not review. Not review. Welcome to the not review.
We probably lost it.
Play the intro now.
But not this week. This week.
Yes, you heard this right. What is this right? Yes, you heard Jack correct. None didn't lose this time. Yes.
We'll be second in the league. 3-1. Up the non. Okay, this is
get off my
professional.
chair. I literally stood on my chair. I need to stay right.
An
Okay.
emphatic performance from Non, which I watched illegally. 3-1 Non at the Olympic Stadium de Marseille.
Something like that. Yeah. Marseille. Oh well. I think they are. Are they still?
They second in the
Are
league.
they still second? Yeah.
They second in the league.
Yeah. Marseille
I
are still second in the League One
they've
Conference.
only lost to PSG.
Yeah. So
I might
if
be
that's
right. Or that actually, I think that might be just the teams around them in terms of like the teams around them, like Lyon and stuff.
in other words,
They've lost to
Marseille are a top side in the League One Conference, and they lost 3-1 to the non.
And we didn't go up any positions. We won a game, and we didn't go anywhere.
So if you're wondering the goal scorers, well, actually we didn't say the scoreline. Marseille won, which is home. Marseille were at home as well. Marseille won, Nantes 3, with goals from Libombe, Bamba, and an own goal by Gonzalez, securing the win for Nantes. While Marseille's puny little one goal scorer being Sanson in the 39th minute. But yeah, it was great because they were 2-1 up Nantes until the 91st minute. As I said, an own goal from Gonzalez. Thank you, Gonzalez, because you secured the win for Nantes.
I
listened to French commentary.
Shot. He shot it towards the goal, and we just got in the way. What's his face? The Gonzalez geezer.
Yeah.
He got in the way, deflected it into his own net.
Yeah. To be totally honest, it's pretty obvious by now. Simon is our Nantes hero. Nantes really don't seem to be Nantes without Simon. I mean, we've said that quite a few times about clubs. They're not a club without this certain player. But Simon did great that game, like he always does for Nantes. But this time we got the win, which is unusual. But that now puts Nantes still 12th. We started this Nantes review, they were 9th. When we started Nantes review, they were 9th, Jack. Are we bad luck for them? But yeah, Marseille won, Nantes 3. Great. Do you want to do the lineups or not really? In goal number 1, Lafont. Yeah.
No, we don't need to do the lineups.
No, I'll just say that. I'll just say.
I'll just say them. Harvey's on the podcast.
Yeah.
Don't do the lineups for me.
I'm just gonna say that. I'm gonna say the
heroes.
man up top. Are you ready? Simon.
My hero.
Oi.
Simon and Simon's my favourite, and then it's Limbombe and then Lafont. And I love
and Bamba.
Why do you like a Bamba?
Because he
Why
scored.
do you like Bamba? Oh, you like players that score, do you? You like it when they stick their balls in the net.
Oh, for fuck's sake, Jack.
You like the players that stick the ball in the net.
Well, no, but seriously, Bamba
You have to play
is a
that.
decent side for non, aren't they?
Oh, he's a decent player, yeah. What's
Decent
this?
play for the non. Tottenham Stadium pass, that's what it is, Jack. Why do you get so scared?
Because it's a Tottenham Stadium pass. Who would want to be anywhere near that?
Well, I mean, it's better than your Stamford Bridge, isn't it?
Nah.
Well, I mean, it is. I mean, it is.
Nah.
It is 100% better.
Nah.
I mean,
Nah.
there is a reason why managers say it's the best stadium in the world, Jack.
Who said that? They're
Quite
wrong.
a few
They're
managers.
wrong. They're
Okay.
wrong. Best stadium in the world, not just because it looks. It's not even because it looks amazing. It looks all right. It has to be for me the Signal Iduna Park. The atmosphere just wins. There's no atmosphere at Tottenham. It's just a fucking goldfish bowl.
Goldfish bowl?
There's just no noise.
It ain't a goldfish
Smash.
bowl. Tell you what is a goldfish bowl. I saw the stadium blueprint plans, and it's literally glass around the side. So you can literally look straight in. Yeah, but you can also watch the game from outside the stadium.
Yeah, but there'd be
They're getting no
stands
tickets,
in
though.
the way.
No, but like there's
They'd
literally
have to. Well, they make
there's
the
no
seats out of
seats.
solid glass.
No, there's no seats, and then there's like a gap between the two. There's like a stand, and then there's a gap, glass, so you can see right through it, and then
I haven't got a
more
problem with the
stands.
whole stadium being glass.
I know, but you can see straight through. They're gonna make no ticket sales because they can
No,
just watch outside
but
the
you're
stadium.
gonna have to. You have things like coffee shops, burger shops. You
Oh,
have
yeah.
that all around the stadium, so you wouldn't be able to see through anywhere unless you've got a helicopter. In which case, it doesn't help us anyway because if you've got a helicopter, you can watch any game for
Good
free.
point.
Mind you, you do have to buy a helicopter. Oh, someone just broke into our house. I'll club them.
That's probably
It's your house. I don't know why it's in our house. I don't live here.
yeah. the TFC house.
We do live things at mine, and we do podcasts at yours.
Yeah. Okay, but is there anything else you wanna do except for the marshmallow ASMR before we
I
just?
don't even want to do ASMR. I just want to eat a marshmallow.
Okay, right. You eat a marshmallow in a minute, but we got to do the outro, Jack.
Right, lads, let's do an intro.
An intro? Do you mean an outro?
An intro.
What are
An
you-
introduction to
Okay.
the outro.
Right, now you got a marshmallow. Are you happy?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I'm fine now.
Jack's happy. He's got a marshmallow. As we do the outro, yes, that's right, lads. I think that's the first non-review that we've actually won.
Eh?
We've won in the non-review. So thank you so much, Non. And you know what I said last week? I said normally we say hopefully it's a win, but they do the exact opposite. So now, and that time I wish for a loss. So let's hope it works again. So we hope you don't win, Non. But do win, please. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. Non of won for the first time of the
It
non-review.
feels weird because we can't plug the Morgs live stream anymore because
Yeah.
there isn't one. But there might be some live thing coming in a couple of weeks, maybe.
Possibly,
it's not
if we're
confirmed,
lucky.
but that might be happening. So look out for that. We'll probably
Not Morgs for 8 hours
speak
again.
more.
but-
No, we're not watching anything else for 8 hours. I need another year to recuperate. Maybe one next year.
Jesus Christ.
2021 Morgs for 24 hours. Okay, no, I'm not giving.
Yeah, but yeah. If you don't already know, and if you're new to the channel, you probably not heard it. Me and Jack watched Morgs for 8 hours straight, just on Friday. And if you guys haven't already, please donate. But the donation page is still open. We did it to raise money for cancer research, and the donation link's still open. So please, link it in the description. If you have any spare money, then please donate it. Thanks. Thank you guys for watching. That's been the first. Well, it's not the first one we've recorded in real life, is it? The first TFC podcast.
No,
we've
because the
recorded.
last one we did, it wasn't so professional. Because now we've got a microphone, so we can go down.
Yeah, this is
Hello.
this is the first proper, formally recorded in real life TFC podcast. But yeah, Jack's having another marshmallow. My whole marshmallow supply is almost gone. Thank you guys for watching. Let's hope the marshmallows don't go before the end of the podcast.
He straps me down. In fact, he pays my wages on marshmallows. This is my wages.
Okay. Right, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Also, subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a like on the video. Right, cheers, bye. Also, up the non-TFC army. Anything else, Jack?
Team 19 for life. I don't care. Love the pod. Subscribe. Leave a like. This might be on Spotify, actually, won't it?
This podcast isn't, but I was about to mention that. Possibly in the next couple of weeks, we might be switching this podcast over. Well, not switching it over, but this podcast might be available on Spotify next week. and YouTube, so both. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
Hang on, we have breaking news.
Oh, we have breaking news.
Primary school children will no longer be able to head a ball in training.
Piss off.
Under new guidelines released by English,
God.
Northern
Well,
Irish,
I'm glad I
and
ain't in
Scottish
primary
football
school.
associations. Yeah, you're not allowed to head a ball anymore in primary school.
Well, thank God we ain't in primary
How
school.
ridiculous!
So, if you're in primary school, yeah, lads.
That's in training. You can head the ball in like life and stuff, in like games and stuff.
Yeah.
But because of the damage it does
To your head,
brain,
apparently.
well, yeah, clearly I was dropped on my head as a child. But because of the damage it does, you're not allowed to do it in training anymore. So you can't practice heading the ball.
That's a load of bullshit. Right. Let's hope, just like us, you're not in primary school, because you want to be actually heading the ball, don't you? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, and also in the next TFC podcast. Goodbye, lads.